Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the presentation. We have about 15 participants so far that have joined. We'll give it 2 more minutes to give some others some time. Okay, so that's 2 minutes. We'll get started and people will trickle in as we progress. So hi, everyone. Welcome to the Leicester Open House Career Webinar. And before we get started and tell you what this is all about, we'd like to introduce ourselves. There'll be 2 speakers today. Next slide, please. There we go. So my name is Alykhan Manji, and I'm a vice president of strategic consulting at Leicester National. I've actually been with the company for about 4 months now. And my background really is coming from very large, complex programs, overseeing consortiums, overseeing large teams, delivering technology-based programs. I come from transit technology. And over the past few years, I've developed organizations, developed tech transfer, localization of products from different countries, and building PMOs. So I'm a licensed engineer in Canada. So I'm originally from Canada, but I've been in the US and have been naturalized as an American for many years. And essentially, at Leicester, I have 2 roles. I'm based out of New York, and I oversee the activities for Leicester National in New York and New Jersey. And also, I am heading the strategic consulting services business, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Joining me is Hubert. Hubert, you're on mute.
Again, my name is Hubert Owens. I'm the National Supplier Diversity and / Contract Compliance Director for Leicester National. I've been with Leicester in July, this coming July 15th, it'll be 5 years, and time has certainly flown with my career here at Leicester, but had a lot of support from a lot of good people. I'm based in Atlanta. I have over 25 years experience in supplier diversity and contract compliance services. I've spent probably a little over 21 years with the city of Atlanta, 15 of those years as director of the mayor's office of contract compliance. And basically that included the implementation of the city's equal business opportunity program, which is a strong race conscious participation program to ensure that minorities and female-owned firms have an opportunity to participate had an opportunity to participate on city-sponsored contracts. I was also responsible for administering the federal DBE program and the city's local small business program, and that encompassed contracts in an array of areas involving the city, including the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta Airport, watershed management, and any other contracts that the city initiated. So I've also had various experience in public policy and development, economic development, and so my experience has been vast in diversity, and actually look forward to sharing more about diversity and some of the projects that we're working on and improving diversities and opportunities for all sectors and likes of companies. Okay.
Thank you, Hubert. So It's a career webinar. Everyone here is interested in, what jobs are out there, what can we look for, what can we do? But before we get into all of that, what we'd actually like to do is to give you an overview of who we are as a company. Who is Luster? What do we do? What are the service areas we're in, and what sectors we service? What kind of teaming partners and clients do we have in the consulting practice that we're in? And then just a few examples of our projects, both past and present, what's active. And like I said before, I will speak a little bit about what is strategic consulting, which is a new business line at Luster, and then also who we're looking for. And then we'll get to the punchline that you're all interested in, and is what are the job openings available, right? We will leave some time at the end for Q&A. So Luster National is a minority-owned small business. It's headquartered in California, but we have offices all across the country. For example, I'm in New York. Hubert is in Georgia, right? We have a 34-year track record spanning lots of different types of professional services. So top of the agenda for me, of course, is consulting services and what that is all about. We also do program, project, and construction management services. Environmental services, we look at quality and risk management, and there's an overlap with a lot of the strategic consulting business, the program management consulting business, and quality risk management. They all go hand in hand, so we all work together. And we look at stakeholder alignment. We look at what our in-house expert calls JEDI, which is Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion. Most people call it DEI. So the next slide actually goes over the map of the country, right? And I hope everybody recognizes that this is the United States of America. These are our offices all across. And you see we have offices in New York, in Maryland, in Georgia, in Texas, and a few in California. Our corporate headquarters is in California. So this is, to make it a little bit more interesting, interactive, we have a question for you. So why don't you go ahead, scan the QR code, and send us your responses. Well, look at that. So all of you are representing the United States as well, from all different parts. So Hubert will continue with the next slide talking about the values.
Okay, within Luster, we have basically three core values that we really focus on and that we really think are important to the company as we provide our service, the best quality services to our clients, and as well as growing the company. The first is client focus, and we really want to go in when we're dealing with a client, and we have somebody that we're a company or an agency that we're working for. We really want to understand what their objectives are. We need to know that going in so that we can tailor our services to make sure that we are meeting the client's needs and actually what they're looking for as a result of the partnership with Luster. So client focus is really key to Luster providing the top quality services to our clients, be they other firms, be they municipalities, government agencies, what have you. We have to understand what they need and tailor our work towards addressing those needs of the client. The second one is professional integrity. I mean, integrity is key to anything that we do in your personal life, in your professional life, as a company, whatever you're involved in. Integrity is critical to what we're doing and what we sell to our clients and our customer base and our stakeholders. If our stakeholders can't trust us to do the right things, both professionally and personally, then we're kind of up against the wall with that. So if you're looking to come to work for Luster, you know, professional integrity and personal integrity is not there, but all of it is important to us and our employees as we move forward and grow and service our client base. And thirdly, social responsibility. We have an obligation to give back to the communities that we support throughout the country. And that could be environmental responsibility, that could be a responsibility in growing the social climate in those areas. And so it's important that as we work and service our clients throughout the country, that we give back socially to those environments, to those areas that we're working in. We don't want to be known as a company that will just come in, get the work, and leave. We want to leave our mark and leave our reputation, the Luster brand, in those areas that we've worked in. So social responsibility is really key. So those are the three areas that are critical in Lust as it relates to Luster's core values. So as a company, we have a competitive and generous benefits. Luster's benefits packages are second to none when you compare them against either larger companies or public sector agencies or what have you. And just to name a few, unlimited flexible time off. Of course, we have all the major paid holidays, health, dental, vision insurance, which is really provided by United Healthcare, one of the leading healthcare providers in the country. So that United Healthcare is our provider. We have flexible spending accounts that you can enroll in through the United Healthcare that'll help you with prescriptions and so forth. It's an account, if you choose to do so, that you can sign up for, and it gives you some flex spending possibilities and opportunities as you take advantage of the medical coverages that we provide. Short and long-term disability insurance, life and accidental death, dismemberment policies are available, 401k plans. And the good thing about the 401k plan is that Luster is going to contribute 3% of your gross salary into that 401k plan, whether you do anything or not. If you choose to join, that's fine. But if you don't, you just know Luster is looking out for your future by investing 3% of your gross salary into a 401k plan. And the other good thing about that is that you're eligible for that on day one of your employment with Luster. Wellness programs with $50 monthly wellness stipend that's headed up uh, by Sarah Luster. And that's a program that we encourage each and every one of you to take advantage of, because I mean, we want you to stay healthy and we want you to stay productive. And when you're not, then I mean, a company can't grow. I mean, we have issues with absenteeisms and so forth. So a well-rounded wellness plan is important to the Luster team. Personalized meal planning and nutrition support, financial planning. Again, the 401k that's dealing with a census, and the leading firm in that particular industry. Professional development programs. We want our employees to grow. We want them to expand their abilities and be flexible and multi-talented and be able to multitask. We offer continuing education programs. If your field requires certain continuing education units and so forth to keep your certifications or licenses and so forth, Luster understands that and supports you in all of those efforts. And also encouraging you and support you in your professional licensure and society memberships that are critical for you to grow as an individual, as well as help the company grow. Next slide. Okay, here are some of the sectors that we as Luster uh, work in throughout the country. Aviation is critical. It's a huge portion of what we do at Luster. Um, I think Alykhan will share later some of the projects that we've done, particularly at Hartsfield-Jackson, some of the airports that we worked on. High technology. We're big in the federal government sector. Disaster recovery, emergency disaster recovery. Uh, that we participated in. One I can remember was back in Puerto Rico after a major disaster that we participated on. Roads and bridges for sure, healthcare, transit, as you'll hear later. We're big in the transit area. Matter of fact, one of the contracts I'm working on is at MARTA, which is, if you're on the West Coast and up in the San Francisco area, you're probably familiar with BART. That's equivalent of BART in that area, as well as the New York subway and those types of things. So you'll hear more about that. Water and wastewater, and as well as finally strategic consulting with either larger firms or with municipalities to help them work through some of the challenges that they have internally in getting their programs completed.
Thank you, Hubert. So with that, we'd like to know about you and what sectors you're from and where you're coming in. So why don't you pick out your camera one more time, snap a shot here and tell us what sectors you all work in. Okay, so all of you are pretty much overlapping with all the sectors that we're actually engaged in. So we're engaged in almost every sector that you have put on the screen here. So to give an example of our clients, and not just clients, but teaming partners. As a small business, we team up with larger companies and support them in some of the pursuits that they engage in. So you may have heard of companies like AECOM and Atkins. That are very large consulting firms that rely on expertise we bring to the table as well, both as a small business and with some of the specialized services that we have, which they may not have. WSP is another example of a partner, Jacobs. In terms of end user clients, we work with a lot of the Department of Transportations across the country. So GDOT, Hubert talked about MARTA. We are on the California High-Speed Rail team, and we'll talk about that. But we also have some engagements where we do consulting services and work with private businesses. You'll notice, Apple and Google are both here, and that might stick out because that's kind of odd to see them on a list with everybody else that's here. We can't really talk about what we did for them because they're private businesses and they're confidential projects. But we've engaged with them. So from port authorities to DOTs, to all sorts of government agencies. We work with FEMA on the federal side of things, right? We're quite spread across the board. So some examples of projects of the past. NASA, we were involved in the Space Control Center, and there we had construction management responsibilities. We supervised engineers, we supervised contractors, we did utility coordination. We were involved in ongoing monitoring and condition reporting and implementation of corrective actions. SFO, or the San Francisco Airport. This was a very large program. There were 72 interrelated projects, airside, landside. There was a new cargo facility. We were involved in program management services that encompassed cost and schedule, contract admin, and then we were also involved on the environmental consideration and feasibility study side. Yeah. GDOT, the Northwest Express, right? It was a design build project. We were part of the owner's verification team on the construction side, and we were ensuring compliance with GDOT and federal highway requirements. AC Transit, BRT. BRT is bus rapid transit, right? We were part of community building and outreach and public engagement. That's a very strong area of business for us. Atlanta Airport, again, Hubert alluded to that. That was a $7 billion program. We were part of the joint venture that was there. We were there for construction management activities, for safety. And with them, we actually pioneered an internship program, right? With Texas DOT, we were part of the toll lane development. And there we were part of the program management team, and we provided quality management, contract administration, reviewing of submittals, risk management, and even audits and compliance checks, right? So some of our active projects that we have today, California High-Speed Rail, it's a big project. It's a heavy buzzword. Everybody's all about high-speed rail across the country. This is one of the pioneering high-speed rail projects that's going up in the Bay Area. We'll talk a little bit more about that later because I have some dedicated information there. Hubert will talk a little bit more about GDOT and the MMIP program that we have there, which is the Mobility Improvement Program. We're at JFK Airport, and JFK Airport, we're providing program management support and project controls. We are at Alameda County, where we're doing public outreach and community engagement. We're part of BART Link 21. BART is, as Hubert told you, the commuter transportation system in the Bay Area. There we're doing risk management, quality management, supplier diversity, right? Project controls. And then we're also engaged with MARTA, and we're doing assessments and process improvement, and we're helping with managing DBEs. So here's where I get to put a plug in for myself, right? Strategic consulting services. I talked about that earlier. It was on our list of services. What does that mean? And that's a business that I'm a part of and trying to kind of grow, and where we actually need really good people. The idea here is this. A lot of our partners, a lot of the larger customers, a lot of the larger teaming partners, the big consulting firms, they have very specialized skills, right? They have engineers that do design. They have engineers that do verification, testing. What is missing and where there is a gap is a level above. It's what we're calling the enterprise level. How do we actually manage larger programs? How do we implement risk management for large programs? How do we implement quality management at a programmatic level, not at a project-specific level, but for an agency, an owner, for example? How do they look at their portfolios and manage those? How do we work with them to identify what their actual objectives are, help them with developing their long-term business plans and strategies, and how they're performing against those? And then as consultants, support them with the necessary resources to build the organizations that we're helping them build, right? So examples of projects in strategic consulting. For DCA, we did programmatic analysis, and it was really looking at the transition from planning phases to delivery phases. There was stakeholder alignment. There was this whole case with, this new buzzword in the industry called alternative deliveries, and many departments don't know what that means. So some departments do, they want that, they see that as the way of the future for projects. So working with all the other stakeholders to get buy-in, to get understanding of what this means, how it affects them, and how they can be successful at that. doing gap analyses for different clients. So Southern Company was a different example of a gap analysis. MARTA is a different example of a gap analysis, right? In MARTA's case, it was looking at some their payment systems and invoice systems. In Southern Company's case, it was really about supplier diversity. So think of it as business management consulting in the traditional sense, but catered with the expertise we have in our sectors. So when these clients go to the large business consulting companies, the languages are different. The concepts are abstract. We can relate to them because we're from the industry. California High Speed Rail is a really good example. We're part of the joint venture there. We have many services there. But one of the key things we were part of was authoring the business plan. And we're part of the periodic reporting updates on that business plan. So segueing right into California High Speed Rail, we are a subconsultant to the joint venture that is formed by AECOM and Fluor. AECOM, most people know as a very large consulting organization. Fluor actually is a very large contractor and construction company from Europe. And so we're on their delivery team. We there are putting services on project controls. We have a project controls director stationed there. Like I said before, we helped authoring their business plan, so we're engaged with them there. And this whole program is significant, right? Because it's going to connect mega regions of the state. It's going to contribute to the economic development and a cleaner environment. If we can move people by transit and by rail, we're taking cars off the road, we're taking emissions off the highways, we're helping create a better world. And that goes along with job creation as well. So right now, there's a segment from Bakersfield to Merced that is underway. Stations are being built. And what they're looking at is by 2025 to complete all the environmental documentation for all 500 miles that connects San Francisco to Anaheim. By 2028, they want to complete the design, and they actually want to start train testing on the first 119 miles. It's double tracked. So what that means is there's 2 tracks, one for each direction, and it's electrified. So what we're typically used to with railroads is diesel engines, not anymore, right? These are electric engines. They run on electric power. And then from 2030 to 2033, they will start full passenger service and revenue operations. So I kind of covered this already in my long-winded speech there. But what we're engaged in at a high level, again, program management, quality management, project controls, and then the strategic consulting work. So Hubert, why don't you tell us all about GDOT and MMIP?
Okay. So GDOT, MMIP, and our role in delivering that project. First of all, MMIP is an acronym for Major Mobility Investment Program. Major Mobility Investment Program. And we are a subconsultant to HNTB in delivering that particular program from the beginning to the end. Alykhan talked about programmatic implementation. As HNTB's partner on that project, we are providing a number of services that will ultimately deliver the final product on behalf of GDOT. Actually, we're making sure that we're focusing on compliance with all of the GDOT contract requirements. The Major Mobility Investment Program is kind of a conglomeration of capital improvement projects with a number of design projects. But P3, we have different, I guess, categories of funding that support these capital projects. There's some private investment development dollars, as well as state dollars as well as federal dollars, which is where you get the P3 from. It's a partnership of three buckets of funding, so that because everybody has a vested interest in the improvement of these interstates and interchanges, bridges, and so forth, so that we can all kind of have increased capacity of these particular thoroughways. As you know, if you've ever been to Atlanta and have driven through at certain times, you know the traffic in the Atlanta region is awful. But so these projects, some of these projects will go towards improving access to the interstates, um, adding express lanes in and around the Atlanta area, as well as in other regions of the state. For instance, we're working on a project in Savannah, I-95, I-16 interchange, improving those interchanges, improving bridges, and just the roadways throughout the state. Um, it's all about increasing capacity and improving access on the state interstates and highways. Um, What's Luster's role on this particular project? We're providing to HNTB and GDOT quality management services. We're providing DBE analysis, which is a sector that I predominantly work in. Environmental compliance. We're providing support for procurement, professional training development of GDOT and consultant personnel. Um, we're providing client stakeholder services and development of post-let implementation guidelines. And when we say post-let, I'm not sure, I saw the sectors that you work in, but once these projects have gone through the procurement process and we have companies under contract, then on the backside, we have to do certain things that make sure to ensure that these companies and contractors are providing the services that are required under the contracts. For instance, in the DBE sector, all of these projects would carry uh, what we call DBE or supplier diversity goals, which means the larger contractors that Alykhan referenced earlier that may be bidding on these projects, they have to comply with certain DBE regulations. And when I say DBE, and you'll see it up there, that's disadvantaged business enterprises. And that's intentional to target companies that are owned by certain individuals in certain social and economic classes, African American, female, Asian, Hispanic, whatever the predominant classes of citizens that are in these general areas. The federal government is saying that everyone has to have an opportunity to participate on these contracts. And as a result, the DBE program is an effective program to ensure that that happens. We're doing that for MARTA right now, more so on the compliance side. We're managing all of their disadvantaged supply diversity programs. We're developing and implement strategies to diversify and enrich economic opportunities. And we're ensuring that all of our supply diversity programs are developed and are being administered in accordance with federal guidelines. And the slide speaks to federal guidelines, but there are sometimes state and even local guidelines that address the need to improve the utilization of disadvantaged businesses, again, which are normally owned by minorities, females, Hispanic, different sectors of our community. This is a critical part of recipients being able to continue to receive federal dollars to improve their areas and grow their areas. For instance, MARTA is upgrading a lot of their rail stations in anticipation of the 2026 World Cup coming to Atlanta. Atlanta will be hosting probably 8 or 9 World Cup matches in 2026. So we have to improve the capacity of the MARTA rail stations and so forth. So that's critical that we are complying with the federal guidelines, because a lot of those improvements are being done with federal dollars. I could get deeper into, what diversity means and all of the different things that we have to go through in order to have legal and effective diversity programs. When I say legal, programs that will pass any kind of challenges in the courts of law, and effective programs are programs that will actually continue to improve the economics in whatever areas those programs are implemented in. We're trying to keep the dollars in those local communities and grow those communities economically as we implement and develop these programs.
So just before we start the video, very quickly, I noticed somebody put their hand up. We will address questions and answers at the end. Please do ask your questions. In Teams, there is a Q&A button. You can click that. You can submit your questions. We'll get to all of your questions at the end. Sorry, Hubert, back to you.
Okay. So we are listening to the video. Here we go. We're going to show this next video. And what this will do is allow some of the employees at Luster to share their view and their position and how they view the Luster brand and working for Luster and advantages that many of us have been able to take advantage of, and just the family atmosphere that's created, headed up by Mr. Luster, who's Robert Luster, who's the founder and creator of this firm. I mean, they're very strong in family values, core values, and everybody who's a part of the Luster team will feel that throughout the organization as your tenure with Luster develops and grows. So if we can go ahead and run this video, Alykhan?
Yep.
And you'll hear from employees in their own words.
Imagine joining a company built on principle, a company crafted to be family, a company that values community, sustainability, and the challenges of the future, a company that stands up. Luster is that company. 33 years in, Luster National Inc. is a force in the AEC industry, and we want you to join us. Luster is a strategic consulting and program management firm that is ISO 9001 to 2015 certified. Our focus is roads and bridges, transit, aviation, and healthcare projects.
I wanted to create an organization built on 3 pillars: client focus, ethics, and social responsibility. And what we've been able to do collectively with all the wonderful people that I work with is we have created a company that is a value add to our teaming partner and our clients, and it gives a great sense of community for the folks that work at Luster.
After completing my PhD in sociology at Harvard, I'm just so appreciative of the opportunities I've had at Luster to be working with folks who are so smart, so kind, so thoughtful, with such different backgrounds and skill sets.
And to pick up right here with Luster on the GDOT program, MMIP program, has been one of the best things that I can actually say has happened to me in these last few years.
Working with Luster National means I get to work with the most elite and top-tier professionals in the construction industry today.
I was blessed to be able to have this role at Luster where I can balance my home life and work, stay connected in the industry. I feel respected and appreciated by our teammates.
Luster National has proven to be the type of firm that will do whatever's necessary to make you as an individual successful.
The impact that they had on my career and the development, and really the trust and the opportunities with Luster, I think, are endless.
Because Luster is a small company and is continually evolving, then you have the ability to explore new avenues of growth that you may not have at larger companies.
The firm is engaged with people as individuals. You don't feel like just a number. And the focus of the firm is much more on what can Luster do for the employees, not what the employees can do for the firm.
Luster's a perfect blend of big business and family run. Luster's wellness, Luster's future, and Luster's personal development. Luster's working every day to make a positive difference.
We're a rapidly growing company, and Luster satisfies a deep need in me to serve and help others, including our clients.
Luster gives me an opportunity to build projects in the community that I love and that I grew up in.
Love the fact that I work for a company where the owner knows my name.
The thing that is so special about Luster is that it just really feels like home. Everyone has each other's back and is there for one another. I know that if I called any Luster team member, they would pick up immediately and do anything they can to help.
Luster is looking for the best and the brightest to join our team. Contact us and tell us about your Luster. Tell us about you.
Okay. This next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the job openings that we have throughout the company, and you can email your resume if you're interested in becoming a part of the Luster team to the address here on the slide, hiring@luster.com. Just so you know, we post all of our openings on LinkedIn, Indeed, and our website, which is on this slide. So make sure you keep an eye on those social media avenues, LinkedIn, Indeed. You know, we're always posting on our opportunities there, as well as the Luster website, so that you can be abreast of upcoming positions and opportunities to join the Luster team. Right now in the Southeast region, which is basically in Atlanta, we have an opening for a civil engineer, construction management scheduler, program quality engineer, a senior utility coordinator, DBE EEO compliance coordinator, which is in Georgia. And that's kind of the specific location of that position is to be determined because we have 2 or 3 different options. And production manager 1, 2, and 3. We're always looking for those positions nationwide, and in most cases, you must be willing to travel, and the extent of the travel will be determined as we get further into the hiring process and the interview and hiring process.
Okay, so in the Northeast region, what we currently have open, and these a couple of these are imminent. We need people right away. So if you fit the bill and you want to send your resume, please send them like today if you can. Senior project manager, design build in New York City. It's going to be on site. This is part of a design and reconstruction of a huge park as part of New York City. So it's civil focused, but the role is more on the supervision of design and progressing of design, transitioning into part of the overall program management team and long-term supervision. We have the need for a senior project manager with a civil background. I'm not sure why it says highway, should be airport, actually. We're looking at placing a senior PM with a civil background, actually at JFK, with a lot of ongoing activities that are going on over there. There's a technical project manager. This is a little bit more of a strategic position that I'm looking for, and it's related to someone who knows how to manage complex technology programs, and especially bringing engineers together, designers together, and managing risk related to complex technology programs. And in the transit world, specifically transit technology, you've heard, train control. You may have heard of communication-based train control, CBTC. People with those kinds of technological backgrounds that can manage large design teams and design projects, and really with an emphasis on managing integration and risk. And then we have needs for construction managers nationwide. Again, willingness to travel is important. And then in the West region, I'll quickly cover this as well. We are looking for a document control specialist. We're looking for a reporting specialist. We're always looking for project controls people. It's cost and schedule folks are very important and hard to find experienced, skilled people. right? So those are individuals that we really would like to talk to. Quality manager as well. Not everybody understands quality. Luster is ISO certified. A lot of our clients require that certification, and a lot of our clients require quality managers that have that kind of a background to engage on their programs and to help them structure their quality management plans. And then again, construction managers, as you see. So if there's any position that is noted here or not noted here, you'd like to work with us, you'd like to get your resume into us, please go ahead, do it. Send it to hiring@luster.com. As Hubert said, keep an eye on social media. We're constantly putting things there. And even if we don't have a position available today, if we know you, we know your profile, and we think you're a good fit for this company, as opportunities pop up, we'll keep you in mind and we'll reach out to you and include you in those opportunities. Now, so with that, I guess I will open it up for questions and answers. Please feel free to ask any questions and drop them in the Q&A and we'll address them. So we'll give it a couple of minutes for anyone that's putting their thoughts together that wants to ask a question. If not, we'll wrap it up in 2 minutes, and then please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you do think of, or if we've piqued your interest, something here that has caught your eye, absolutely get in touch with us. Send us your resume. So while I buy you a couple of minutes to think of some questions, because I really want you guys to ask some questions, let me kind of tell you what it's like for me, because I've only been here 4 months, right? So a couple of highlights. Luster National is a family business. Hubert talked about the founder. The daughter of the founder is moving up into leadership. The family is fully engaged on the project, and that is a big benefit, because that is bringing a family feel to the company. And having been here a short time, I feel part of the family as well, right? I think it's been great. From the culture is still that family small business culture, and everybody is welcome. I've also got to meet lots of great people, and I've also got to meet a lot of our teaming partners. And really, when I say, hey, I'm now with Luster, I work at Luster, everybody knows who that is. They have a great reputation. Very quick story. Before I actually started, I asked around whether this was the right place to go to or not. And a few of my contacts in the industry came back and said, they're solid. You can't do wrong. So I've had a great start, a great few months of introduction. And who'd actually trust me to do something like this in 3 months, right? So thank you very much to Luster for bringing me on.
Hey, Alykhan, we had one question here from Kip Edwards. He asked, is there a posting board that lists the job positions that can be referenced by everyone at Luster? I posted the link to the careers page in the questions and answer area.
Yeah, so I was just thinking that would be our website. The luster.com website has a career section, and that's where all the job postings would be. So I was also asked to mention that we also are always looking for construction engineering and inspection candidates in Georgia to work with GDOT. There's a lot of opportunities there. So please keep that in mind. Any other questions or special requests? Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you joining us today, and hearing us. Hopefully, I wasn't terribly boring, and you learned something. And maybe we'll see you at Luster. Thank you.